to take 6 hours, 35 minutes to take off and land at the destination is an exact science. Ministry impact and growth is an exact science. Do you understand what I'm saying here? It's an exact science. What he was saying here about the group separation is inside my own notes for my session because it is an exact science. All right? And I just discovered as he was speaking now, for the totality of this science to be given to people will take more than 2 days. It will take more than, we can just get to the beginning of it. Let me just read to you something that Finney said. So when you are listening, it's not guesswork. All right? This thing is not, it's not like, my own case is different. It's the same Bible God gave everybody. Do you get what I'm saying here? So your case is not different. If your case was different, he will write another set of scriptures for you. See, Charles Finney said, look for what he said here. He said, there is one fact under God worthy of note and of everlasting remembrance, that the most useful and important things are most easily and certainly obtained by the use of appropriate means. We find to be the fact, and I fully believe, he said, that could the facts be known, it will be found that when the appointed means have been rightly used, spiritual blessings have been obtained with great uniformity than temporal ones. In other words, a temporal one is a plane taking off and telling you that I will land at 6:35. And the plane takes off, and at 6:33, you see the wrong way. At 6:35 on the dot, somebody flying for 12 and a half hours, the thing touches. He says, if you know that same spiritual laws there, you will predict the outcome with accuracy. So this conference is to bring people into an understanding, all right, of those laws. I was going to say something, but he said it in person. I was watching whether I should say it or not, but he said it in person. You see, one of the issues with a lot of young ministry startup is that you choose mentors that are too far away from you. Let me just say this here, which is why there's a way they say you're too far. And when your mentor is too far, he can't remember what he did. When I say can't remember, let me give an example here. My parents are doctors. My mother is a doctor. In front of me, her mother, she was 94, passed out. And it looked like her heart had stopped beating. My mother gripped her mother. She's a professor of medicine, gripped her and was screaming. My brother had just finished medicine. He just came in. He just told my mother, leave her, and lay her flat. No, he said, drug her. So my father came when he heard the scream. He had been an orthopedic surgeon for almost 35 years. He looked at my brother, who had just finished medicine, doing housemanship. What should we do? Because he can't remember basic medicine. He has passed that stage. Then my brother said, we'll do this. He said, okay, yes. He's like recalling. So if you don't go to people that are close, who just finished moving from 520, do you get what I'm saying, 100 people, you are going to talk to somebody who is a field marshal. What you need is you are a captain in the army. It's a major that needs to tell you what to do to become a major. What the field marshal will be saying, you don't be saying, yes, you don't understand. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So when he said, don't be talking, go and meet, I said, I didn't want to say this thing, but since he has said it, right? Look, this thing is an exact science. All right? It's an exact science. The key to impact, he said it, is learning. We started, we were learning, and then we've got it there. All right? So listen deep. Don't make any excuse that my case is different. Where I am, they don't understand. If only knew what I'm coming from, you will know that I have a special, all right, case. God didn't write a special Bible for you. is the same letters we are all reading. All right? So please listen properly, all right, prayerfully in your heart, that what are the next steps that I have to take in my own work here to get what we are doing going. All right? Let's welcome as we rise to our faith, Dr. David Ogbueli.
Wow. Okay. Okay. You may be seated, please. I want to just contribute something to container. You know, I was dealing with content, then I'll come back to content. Just the second C, container, which is structure. Just something small there. And now, there are different types of structures that you can use to grow a church. For example, you know about the departmental structures that we have. You create departments. But I got to learn that you shouldn't just have department only for their functional purposes inside the church. All departments should be growth channels. Take, for example, music department, choir. I don't just create choir and leave them only for singing. They have to be growing. So what that means is we have one keyboardist, give me 12. You must train 12 people. You are playing this particular role, 12. You're playing this particular role, 12. So remember that as church grow, you're going to do multiple services. And as church grow, the structures also grow. So you have cells everywhere. Who leads praise for that cell group? So they have to be thinking about creating praise and worship leaders for all the outlets. Ushers, the same thing. Including the royal guard, the security team. I think right now we have about 4 people pastoring churches in the north that were my mobile security men. Yes. And our pastors. There is no department that should not be contributing to growth. So don't just give them the internal functional role. Let them also understand that they are part of the system for growing the overall goal. That's departmental structure. There are about 5 types of structures, but I want to touch on one, the cell structure. Okay. The 5x5 cell system, I'm not going to bother about it. I'm sure Pastor Pojo or somebody else can take care of that. I went around the world, studied it, especially the grandmaster is Yonggi. He's written books on that. I went to South Korea. I attended their cell meetings. I followed them to underground cells and went through all that, bought all the books published, studied that. We started implementing that. But when I went to Bakota in Colombia and saw somebody that had come to South Korea and learned what Dr. Cho taught, he developed an additional element to that, which is what is called the G12 system. I want to explain it. That is what gave us explosion. The cell worked, the 5x5 system or the normal cell system worked. But the G12 added a dimension whereby, because the normal cell is, you have a cell here, after a while they divide. The assistant cell leader becomes the leader of the next cell. So meiosis, mitosis, cell division is how you grow, which is wonderful, and we're still doing that. But the G12 is about the Jesus model of growing 12 people. Every year, every pastor must give me 12 new pastors you produce. You're a cell leader, 12 new cell leaders you produce. You're a policeman, 12 new policemen you reach. You are a keyboardist, 12 new keyboardists you raised. Jesus started his multiplication. Remember the first stage in Genesis 1:28 is be fruitful. You pioneered something. The second stage is multiplication. How do you do multiplication? You do it by growing leaders. You become fruitful by planting a seed, but you start multiplication by growing trees, growing leaders. So we found a system of making leadership development an ongoing thing apart from training program. Everybody that knows how to do something must be growing 12 of other people, because every seed in the Bible is commanded to produce after his kind. The G12, which is sometimes called the government of 12, you notice that it's 12 men, patriarchs, that God used to build the human family. And now we are 8 billion plus. 12 men. Count from Adam to Noah. 12. One went bad, the original one, the first son, which was Cain. Have you noticed that it's 12 patriarchs again that God used to build the nation of Israel? When he got, the principle is the principle of 3, 12, 70. That's what you see all through the Bible. There is a technology there. So Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, that's the Trinity, the faith. But the moment he got to Jacob, he created 12. Those 12 men reproduced 70 elders. Those 70 men are the ones that followed Jacob to come inside Egypt during the reign of Joseph. And they are the 70 men that created a nation. If you notice the original patriarchs, 12 of them gave birth at Genesis chapter 11, when the table of nations, when God created the nations, Tower of Babel, is 70. Go and count them. Ham, Japheth, 70. And then he had the whole world. A lot of people wonder, at that time, there was language. How many languages? There were 70 languages. All the other things are derivative of it. Yeah. Because where this culture and this culture meet, there is cultural division. Just like English people came here, mixed with our African, and we created a language called broken out of it. And sometimes the original people that taught us English don't even hear it. And it's not our original language. Yeah. So watch again. Jesus is building a new nation, a called out people, the ecclesia, the church. He deploys that principle again of the 12 and letter 70. Okay. Now, what it means is that as you start your cell and you do your cell meetings, you must develop another program, another cell. What you do with the second cell is leadership development. You keep picking out a few people, not just your assistant, a few people with potentials for the open cell. The open cell is for growth. The closed cell is for leadership development. And those ones you bring out are people you are mentoring to do what you are doing. You don't wait till the day they tell you this cell leader is moving, then you start complaining. Because you see, the limitation of the other model is that when you break the cell into two, sometimes some people feel like they've lost some of the relationships. But in G12, what happens is that I have one cell. The next thing is 13 cells, because 12 new ones come out. Is the fastest technology for multiplication. those people that I mentor, that I'm mentoring and I'm coaching on the how to run it, I meet with them. After a while, you deploy them. And when you deploy them, they all have to also grow 12 leaders. Multiplication must not stop with anybody. So now I have to follow them up till they produce their 12. And they deploy their 12. So you notice that under me now, at the first deployment, there are 13 cells. The original one I'm leading and 12 new ones. By the time they deploy their own, we now have 144 cells. The reason is that structure, without structure, you don't have to be planting branches or depending. If you want, there's also branch structure, church planting structure, depending on the kind of assignment you're called to do. But you have to have cell system if you want to have sustainable and ongoing growth. The G12 and the cell system in general, all of it, delivers to you what is called the compound effect. It is growth by multiplication. It is different from growth by addition. How many people are coming for the first time? 12 people. Okay. How many are coming for the first time? 8 people. When you have a number of people walking and more structures are coming out on the ground, and these are the people, like especially, these are the people that feed the services on Sundays. The power of that is that you're also growing pastors from those cell leaders. You grow by the X factor, not the plus factor, not addition, multiplication. Jesus said, that Genesis 1 said, be fruitful. The second dimension, bring the X factor, multiply. If you now want to do saturation, which is the third level, replenish the earth, a time comes, some of those ones that have really matured, they have grown, you can send them to other places, to pioneer churches. So do you know what I do? When I enter any city, any country, I don't believe in noise making. I only do crusades on noise when you have filled the place with structure. Because anything you do, if you like waste money and finish doing it, is wasted. It's a wasted effort. It's actually part of our principle is when the structure itself can fill a stadium, even if nobody comes, then. So when I enter any place, I'm looking for 12 people. 12. This is how we're cleaning nations. Europe, anywhere. 12. Spend a period of time with those 12 and pass what I know, and then I challenge them to go and create your 12. They create their 12. Then I follow them up to do what I did to them to their 12. And after a while, let them create their own 12. Please write. I want to show you how fast we can clean up Lagos. Disciple Lagos. And how fast we can actually disciple Nigeria. Actually, if these 100 million Christians that we have now just disciple two people, Nigeria is finished. We can start talking about other countries. The problem is that our people are not doing. There are a lot of people sitting that are, so just write 1, 2, 3, 7 years. And I'm not going to do this up to 7 years. Bring out your calculator. You're going to help me do calculation. I want to show you growth by compounding effect. The same principle that can make you a millionaire if you learn how to invest and like as a pastor. I'm not a businessman. I don't do business. But I create wealth. I create wealth. The little money I get, I multiply it. And for me particularly, I don't invest in anything that will not give a minimum of 20% returns. Until recently, I started seeing things that give up to 50. And I'm not talking about MMN. I don't believe in get rich quick. I don't believe in all those nonsense. I'm talking about the compound effect, the power of compound interest. So the same way you can use to grow church, the multiplication factor. So, right, first year, number one, 12 people. So I'm assuming that you are starting a brand new church. You don't have anything. And I'm giving you a whole 12 months just to reach 12 people. You see the assumption? So what about some of you that have 100 people now? What can happen? I want to give you something you can practice now. So when you return back for this conference next year, you can give Pastor Poju a report of what happened with you after this one. You are starting a brand new church and it's just you. Why will it take you a whole 12 months to just get 12 people? So maybe you start winning and they're coming and they are 30, they are 36. Take 12 and take them out. You meet with them every week. And when you meet with them, it's not a service. You don't need equipment. You don't need music. It's just to sit with them and pass the principles that work. And as you do that, remember, you have to obtain their commitment that they will multiply what you are investing in them. Once you don't have commitment for multiplication, you are not in my 12. Because it is, the principle is making disciples that make other disciples, raising leaders that raise other leaders, training pastors that train other pastors, so that I'm not the only one left with the burden of leadership development and the burden of growth. So you enter a place, you have 12, and I'm assuming that in a whole 12 months, apart from the people that are in there is 12 people you achieved. So watch year 2. I want to show you something, how the compound effect after a while moves to exponential. Year 2, you are now releasing those 12 to go and reach their 12. Why they are doing that, they have to keep meeting with you once every week. And that's how I grew my top 12 giants who are now taking. There is somebody I'm taking with me now. We're on our way to some countries. And the guy is going there. He's not coming back. Yeah, that's how I grew some of those men. So year 2 is 144. That's why I asked for your calculator so you can help me. Then at the end of year 2, they must challenge their 12 to go and develop their own 12. So year 3 is 1,728. It looks like not much is happening. But remember that these ones are leaders. That is different from what is happening in the open cells where you're growing members. These ones are capable hands that can be deployed. Year 4, 1,728 multiplied by 12. What would that be? It's over 20,000. And when I said that, I was explaining to our leaders that all this stadium stuff, that is what, because this is what I learned from Young Bicho. How can almost 1 million people, where will you get them? So he told us, we will go to this region, we will meet with our pastors in that region. And the stadium there was filled up. And I was shocked. And I was wondering, you mean these are your leaders in this region? He said yes. And then one day he said, we're going to meet with cell leaders in Seoul, not members. And they took us to Seoul Stadium, that is 60,000 seater. And cell leaders filled the stadium, including the pitch. I said to myself, what is this? I'm trying to grow members to fill my small church of... and somebody is talking about his leaders. He's filling stadium with his leaders. at year 4, I think it's year 4, you're already 20,000 plus. And these are strong hands. If you do it one more year, and I'm not going to go further than one more year, use that 20,000, whatever it is, multiply it by 12, and you will have an idea. It's over 240 something thousand. And remember, it takes a whole year to just do 12. And Pastor Pajo, I don't have a whole year to waste on only 12 men. So I do this at least twice. In 6 months, I must produce so that I can do a second cycle in the other 6 months. So I can do 2 cycles of harvest. Because it's in Africa that we do 1 cycle of harvest. Why? We say rain comes once, so we only harvest 1 year. Until I traveled to Israel, I see that you can be harvesting every 3 months. Because it's not only rainwater, that is the source of, we have 3 sources of water. There's underground water, dig borehole and use it. There is surface water, do irrigation and channel water to your farm. So during dry season, you can still be in rainy season. It's just about that. And I saw how that they grow crops on air. They have, so between here and here now, you have layers of things growing. Because you're able to pipe water through. So, what if right now you have 100 people that are reliable? I'm starting with 1 person, creating 2, but you have 100 people that are reliable. And you can challenge them to multiply their 12. And they have a whole year to do it. So you can multiply 1,200 that first year. What if you challenge them now to now do it one more time the next year? And your job is to follow up those original people. And everything you do to them, they must do it to their own underline. Nobody attends more than 2 meetings in a week. Okay, if you add the church service, 3. Why do you want to keep holding too many programs that are useless? You preach on Sunday, you hold Thursday, you hold. What is all that for? What is he adding? When you can do your service, in the week, you meet with leaders who are going to be your tools of reproduction. It's different from like these conferences. You can see it's intentional. But some people, if you see their program, Monday is for this, Tuesday, this program. What is that? When are these people going to have time to do what you are teaching? You don't know where I came from. That's why, you see what Pastor Poju was telling us now. I came from a world of excuse. You know, let me not insult our people before they get angry with me. Yeah. Where you get up secondary school, you jump out, abandon everything, go into market because you want to make money. And then you get to a point, everything, you return back. And one particular city was creating more armed robbers than any other city in Nigeria, because when frustration gets out of hand, you carry a gun and start looking for, you say it's village people. It's not village people. It's not village people. Okay, to instill into you very strongly the power of compound effect. Because the principle of compound effect states that you can arrive and you are a newcomer. And maybe you arrive now. There is already a church there with 10,000 members. Don't be intimidated. get down on what I'm showing you now. You will find out in a short while you have caught up with that church and passed. Because when you see a big church, you think, they have already taken it. They have not. Check when they are doing service. Go and look at the community. Nobody knows. Nobody's missing. Nobody's missing. Of course, when I'm doing crusades, the whole stadium is filled up. There's one I did in a city. The governor and his wife was coming. They were caught up in traffic because the stadium couldn't take the spaces around the stadium, the space outside the stadium. That is the road. So I was coming in because it was going to be all night around 9 p.m. So I saw people all over this. I said, we have run into trouble. Government has shut down the crusade, so the people are outside. So, but I myself, this is the speaker, trapped in traffic. Finally, we were able to get in. Only to get in to see that the whole place is jammed up and nobody's missing in the city. When you hear that there is one big whatever, you think anybody's missing. Nothing is missing. The bars are still filled, clubs are filled, football, people, nobody's missing. Don't be intimidated. The compound effect is used in business growth, is used in self-development. You want to grow, to join the first two, the first three in any field. But it requires discipline and consistency. You see, you're working on the small things that compound to deliver the big stuff. It just requires discipline and consistency. Those who that like to jump, do crusade and all that, you won't grow church. These are things we started adding after we got things on the ground. You won't. If you like traveling too much, the law, especially those trying to grow, you don't stay more than one service outside your church on a Sunday morning. If you are going, make sure you return Saturday evening. Because the people need to see you. The people need to see their pastor. The people need to see them. It's like when children are growing. There is another phase where you can, when he says saturate the earth, when he says replenish the earth, that is the season where you are now spotting. You can do it. But the season of being fruitful, the season of multiple, the people need to see their pastor. You can't stay more than one week in a month. So if you are the type that, okay, you want to maximum 12 in a year, even that 12. It requires discipline, it requires consistency. And you can join the first three. You can join and you can beat them, even though you're a new arrival. Okay, a small assignment because I want to show you something else. Then I'll go, A small assignment. That compounding thing you are writing, if you write it all the way to the 7th year, you don't have enough of human beings in Nigeria to feel that. So what is hindering us from discipling our country or discipling our city? A lot of time is being wasted on things that don't matter. And the real things that can give us the result are being ignored. Okay. I want to instill in your mind the power of compound effect. Please, if I give you $1 million here, take it, cash is yours. And I give you $1 that compounds. So some of you know what I'm talking about. $1 that compounds. It doubles every day. Which one will you take? When I do trading, they tell me it's $1 million. Which one is $1? I don't have time for that. And then if you suspect that maybe there is something this man is doing, so they go to that side and say they will take $1. But let's do it. 31 days. Just write 1 to 31 now. Let's see. And there's something about compound effect I need to show you here. At the beginning, you don't see so much result. And that's why people drop off. That's why a lot of people are not effective in building the sales system. They prefer to come and preach on Sunday. So the other man takes $1 million. And usually it's the majority that take $1 million. It's like saying a church that has 3,000 members here, or 5,000 members, I don't care which number, and one that is compounding, but it just has only 12 people. But those 12 people know how to create their own 12. And the other, whatever, know how to create their own. Which one will you take? Everybody want to take the 3,000. This profit I can see. But watch. What happens to that $1? Second year is $2. I mean, second day, where usually 31 days is 2. Help me make sure I don't go off. Third day is how many? 4. Fourth day, $8. Fifth day, $16. Sixth day, $32. Seventh day, $64. Okay, now you have to start helping me. Eighth day, $128. Ninth day, $256. 10th day, 5 what? Now, we have just gone 1/3 of the time. And look at the results. Then when I compare 500 and something, it's not even up to $1,000. The guy has $1 million. You give up. That's the problem. It requires patience. It requires discipline. It requires consistency. If you're going to grow sales, because without structure, you do all this, wow. There's nothing to hold them. Look at the number of pillars holding this building. And we have not looked at the ones that are embedded inside the walls. You want to extend your building big, and you don't have these structures to hold it. When you finish, it vanishes. They come, they go, because the back door of the church is not closed. Okay, let's do 10 more days. What will it be? Five something on the 10th day. What will it be on the 11th day? 1,000 what? What will it be on the 12th day? 2,000 something. What will it be on the 13th day? 4,000 something. What will it be on the 15th day? 8,000 something what? What will it be on the 16th day? 16,000. What will it be on the 17th day? 32,000. Do you see? This is 1 million. But you are going to see what will happen in the last 1 week, 10 days. I wish they are actually tabulating it. Give me the number for the 15th so that he can put it up. I want you guys to watch a miracle. The 15th day is what? 16,000 something. Please, guys on the projector, project the numbers. 1 that is doubling every day, 2 on the second day, 4 on the third day, and on the 15th day, you say is what? 16,384. Please put up the 15th day, 16,384. I want to show you something. Okay, 16 days is what? 32,000. Okay, gentlemen, start writing now. I want you to see something. 17 days is what? 65,500 and something. 18 days what? 131,000 plus. 19 days what? 262,000. 20th day is what? Is 500 and something thousand. We are dealing with $1 million here. So we have gone 20 days and we are still very far away. But watch the miracle of exponential growth. So I start with that 12 cells, then we create 144 cells, then 144 we create, because these things are cells that are growing as well as leaders that are growing. Everybody deployed, you start your own cell and you grow leaders also. Okay, watch 21st day, what happened? We catch up with this guy and beat him on the 21st day. And now I still have 10 days to go because it's 31 days. 22nd day is what? 2 million. 23rd day is what? 4 million something. Do you see what is happening to that guy that had 1 million? Okay. 20 what? 24th day, 8 million plus. 25th day, 16 million plus. 26th day, 33 million plus. 27th day, 67 million plus. This high grow money too. Yes. Both church funds and personal. Because you can raise 100 million now to do a particular project. And you can decide not to just consume it, but to invest it. And I have found investment that give you 50%. And that is 150. I only delayed consumption by 1 year. So, you know what I'll do? I use 50 million and start the project and put back the 100 million. And I grow again. I use the other 50 million and complete the project. Since it's 100 million project I want to do. And I still have my 100 million. And then I can now leave it to compound, because this time it is growing even on top of that. Growing and compounding the profit on top. I use the 100 million, create a billion, and I can do multiple things. That's how I operate. Okay. Oh, I stopped at what day? 20 what? 27 day. What is 28 day? 134 million. What is 29 day? 260-something million. What about 29 day? 536 million. 536 million. What about the 31st day? Go use your own calculator and do it. When you do it, that $1 gives you over $1 billion in 31 days by compounding every day. So now I want you to go here and build a church that compounds. So now, you see, I just used 31 days. This could be 31 months for you. You want to be compounding on a monthly basis. Okay, it could be 31 quarters. Every quarter you compound. It can also be 31 years. I just showed you, using the principle of the 12, what happened by the 5th year. You don't need 31 years. So, my wife, give me 12 women like you, your level. First lady, 12 ladies at your level. Excellence, packaging, wisdom, humility, virtue, spirituality. You get them. You develop all the things that needs to be developed in a woman, and you get them. And you have to carefully select them. The covenant is, you must reproduce for me 12 other. Without running around. At the end of 6 months of working on these ladies every week, reproduce 12. And now we have 144 leaders plus the original 12 women that can pastor churches, because if Pastor Poji is not there, you can. They can do this. They can develop women. They can help grow families. And that's what Pastor Sarah did for me. She got me there. Now, when I call to meet the leaders, just women leaders, there are thousands of them. It's like a conference like this. I don't have time talking to women in the congregation. I don't have that time anymore. Women leaders is a conference like this that was grown not by conference, not by multiplication. You, an administrator, you've done well for us, church admin. I need 12 admin, very solid administrators by the end of this year. But there is a deal. Remember, we are starting a chain reaction. It's not just those 12. By the end of this year, commission those 12 to grow 12 others. What will that church look like? Have you faced frustration of having one keyboardist? Because he knows that the whole church is depending on him. He comes late. If I tell you what I went through at the early stage, he will come late. Okay, sack him. You don't know how to sack him. You need him. After sacking, you have to call. So what is that? Break the monopoly of anybody. So when you hear now, I'm focusing on Europe, I'm focusing on that. No, you have to build a system that does not allow, there is something called the might of stardom. If you individuals, and that's what leads to rebellion. Tomorrow they want to break and whatever. No, multiply that thing. You are the one that is running healing services for us on Faith Clinic. Multiply it. Don't let it be the only one. After a while, the Lucifer effect will come in. So what we decided to do is to build a system. If you get up and say you are going, nobody misses you. It's teamwork that is making it work, not because you're a superstar. There is a might of stardom. Harvard University did a research. They had one of these astute professors that was something else. Everything he publishes, the whole world goes for the whole business community. The thing got into his head. That he was too much. He left Harvard. One university in Europe offered him something. He left them, drove them. Harvard learned. Anything you are doing, they will so multiply it. Do you know what shocked the man? He went to that place the first year. He couldn't perform. And they came and paid all that money because of the result he was delivering to Harvard. Now he couldn't do it. They gave him a second year, he didn't. They kicked him out. Now, he goes, he writes, he has disappeared from the scene. Small young people now write what the business world. And then they decided to do a research around companies. They found that this stardom thing is a might. Don't get any leader grown under you that is intimidating the whole ministry, intimidating the pastor, and all of that. You know what they found out? The guy did not know that it was the contribution of the whole team that is making Ronaldo excellent. Is it not somebody that passed the ball to you? Is it not somebody that is keeping the goalpost? If it's only you, if we send you there, can you play that team? It's teamwork that is making the engine work. That's the culture you must build. And destroy this Absalom thing from everybody. This Luciferian thing. And makes them think. Environment where you grow leaders. And when some people are inside and they start giving some kind of problem, they are busy complaining or whatever. No, it's time for deployment. Send him to some place where places are. Let him go there. Then next time you see him in church, he will humble and be learning from the pastor. You have been feeding him too much. He's doing nothing. It is the people we have grown that we did not deploy that are our headaches. When he is deployed, he has something to do. He has to grow that place. Next time you are teaching principle, he will be taking note. Before he said, we already know it. Leave that thing, I already know. Acts 2. Is that what you are reading again? Tell us something new. Have you done it? I wanted to share something else on the miraculous, but it will be the next time we see. Only thing I will say today, this is the book that cracked it for me. Healing the Sick by T.L. Osborne. Of course, you know Papa Hagin wrote a lot and I studied all that. But I've never seen a human being that simplified healing like this man. Look at John 6, verse 2. You want growth? Great multitude followed him because they saw the miracles which he did on them that were diseased. If you want to see instant church growth, start ministering to the sick and healing the sick and casting out devils. I even need to say something. Well-learned people, intellectuals, will go and sit down and be listening to an illiterate as long as they see the power of God working. And you come, you say, but look, why is that church growing? Look at me. My word is solid. Whatever is solid. But why are they following that man? He can't even speak good English. Because your gospel has no proof. If you want to know what is drawing the multitudes, read it again, John 6:2, one more time. I can show you many scriptures on this. Great multitude. Everyone say that word. Followed him because they saw the miracles. This book and the other one called To Heal the Sick by Charles and Francis Hunter did it for me. I stayed on it. I studied it. I marked it. When I tore it in pieces, I went and bought another copy. When I finished tearing it in pieces, I went. I'm raising 1,200 healing evangelists. So I just came to revisit it. That's why. And I ordered all the bookshops in Nigeria, wherever they have the copy. I told them, said, Lantana said they had, 2,000 copies. I said, I bought all of them. And then, but I don't give it free, you buy it. Yeah, buy the truth. You don't. Leaders, they're not the ones you're giving things free. Unless you want to create dependent people, and that will be your problem later. They all want to know how to do it. So this is what helped me. Plus what Papa Hagin has written from faith to the healing anointing to all of that, understanding the anointing and all of those things. This is the first man to fill stadiums. I mean, since the day of Acts of Apostles, the first human being that did it, that will go to open square, T.L. Osborne is his name. That's the person that mentored Papa in the house. Priority carried him and introduced to him. He has studied these subjects and broken it down. Let me give you one more scripture. Matthew chapter 4, 23. Jesus went about. Next time I'll come, I don't care what the conference is. I'm going to talk about this, but I'm going to show you. You will see that it's easy. There are just 7 secrets behind this thing. It's not a secret, my dear. Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in the synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing what? All manner of sicknesses. And all manner of this. Don't tell me the name is cancer. That's the story. We are the ones classifying those things. Everyone say all manner. When fire comes into this place to burn, it doesn't recognize that this one is iron, this one is leather, this one is pepper, this one is cloth. or that this one is human being. He doesn't even care. Or that the other one is wood. Go watch what happened to Twin Towers in US, in New York. When somebody loaded fuel, flew it into those towers. Steel building, it melted the steel, burnt the leveled the whole place. That thing that fire does to elements and matter is what the power of God does to all kinds of things. It doesn't care whether it's cancer, it doesn't care whether it's blindness, it doesn't care. Do you know, in one night, I came from Enugu into Lagos. In one night, you fill up this whole place. It's filled completely. Just within whatever, this number of people got healed in one night. You know why? They went to the school of deaf and dumb and brought deaf people. So I told them, bring all of them on the stage. And I want you to know that Jesus heals them all. When all of them heard, the faith of the people exploded in one whatever. You see, miracles were happening like it's nothing. But it's not hard. Just like church growth, it depends on what you're preaching. Don't tell people you don't have faith. Don't do that. They are not meant to have faith. The preacher is meant to infuse them with faith. It is what they hear from you that will give them the faith. There are things, yes. If you want to clap, clap well. They are not meant to have faith. Faith comes by what? There are things you're preaching that is killing the miraculous in your church. There are some things you'll be preaching, that church will never grow. Give it 1,000 years. That's what? Ministry of the word. There are things you're preaching that is killing the faith of the people. Even if you want to preach about second coming of Jesus, about hell, let it end on the note of victory, on the note of faith. Just because you want to teach sanctification doesn't mean you flog your people. At the end of the day, you're growing slaves that are downcast, that don't believe in themselves. Don't you know who God's people are? These people that he has purchased and made kings and priests, feed them materials that will create that type of consciousness in them. There are things, when you preach a message of hope, a message of faith, a message of love, God's love for people, God's love for people, message of grace, healing will be everywhere. And then you remove the hindrances by teaching them to walk in love, walk in forgiveness. Those things that hinder the power of God from walking in the lives of people. It is the simple gospel that creates the miraculous. It is in discipleship you bring all those other things. To now mature people. But if you want, I was reading Matthew chapter 4. Please show it one more time. He went about everywhere preaching and healing all manner of disease among the people. Verse 24. And his fame went throughout all Syria. They brought to him all sick people that were taken with diverse disease, torments, and those that were possessed with devils, and those that were lunatics, mad people, and those that had palsy, and he healed them. Watch verse 25. And they have followed him what? Great. Biblical principles creates till tomorrow Bible results. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have any special, any anointing anywhere. It starts by seeding yourself with faith materials. And when you learn to seed the people with that also, this book will do wonders. We don't have, if you perchance you run a bookshop, you have copies, just contact any of our people, I will buy all of it. When I finish growing 1,200, I want to grow 12,000. Because there is no city or community you send them, they cannot crack. When they come with the power of God. Jesus has risen from the dead. The resurrection is the proof that he's God, that he's different from any other prophet in the Bible. But what's the proof today is the miraculous that is the proof of his resurrection. When you meet Muslims, you start arguing with them. They have a black book, you have a black book. You're arguing, they have a founder, you have a founder. They are all prophets. No. There is something that sets him apart that you can bring on the now. And anybody that's arguing about Christ or the gospel, wait till he is sick. Even the ones that say they are atheists, they become believer on the sick bed. But then they are now begging God, looking for a way out. And their way, that's the moment you have a door to enter. Every man's need is the access door to their life. Just like you're going to study church growth to understand, you need to study the miraculous. Romans chapter 15 verse 17 said, I dare not speak of those things. Paul the apostle, look at what he said. And those who want to take cities, break cities. For I have this thing whereby I grow in Christ Jesus. Verse 18. For I will not dare to speak of any of those things which Christ had not wrought by me, to make the Gentiles obedient by word and by word deed. Don't only preach. Don't only take words. The message needs to be confirmed. By word and by deed. Please put it up. What deeds? Through mighty signs and wonders, and by the power of the Spirit of God, so that for Jerusalem and round about Ilichum, I have fully preached the gospel. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you.
Let's put our hands together once again for... All right, you may all be seated. We'll take 3 questions. But I just want to say something, and I keep saying this. Ministry is an exact science. I showed my wife now, and those people who were here on Sunday, I said this. Pastor Reverend W.F. Kumi said when he was going to break into the supernatural, he said, what opened the door was this book, Healing the Sick. Now, I've got the video, so I've sent it to them to download. In the next session, I'll play it, so you hear it yourself. This exact book, he said, I got it, and I read it, and I read it, and I read it. He said, I didn't know it had entered into me when I started preaching. He said, somebody just came to tell them how they were miraculously healed. That's how he knew the thing had affected him. So he decided to go to National Stadium. I'll play it for you. You see, when we say this thing is, you see, don't say that my case is different. It is an exact... As he said, I just said to him, I said, what? I just said, what? What he said was exactly the experience W.F. Kumi had. This book, Healing the Sick. All right? So these things are true. All right? And also true about, I would say this, let me use football to say it, about stardom in this. Do you know that Manchester United, no, it's not a this thing, bought their star striker once. What's his name? Van Nistelrooy. By the time he was doing the star, they asked him, Alex Ferguson went to calculate the goals they scored after he was bought. When they had the gentle and the cool, and what was the other guy from Huh? Who? Yes, Dwight York. They realized that Dwight York and Andy So created more goals for them than the star they went to buy. They quickly told the star, you have reduced our impact. There's only one king in Zion. All right. In fact, tomorrow I will speak on roll the stone away. You know, before the miracle can happen. One of the first stones you must roll out of ministry is all chairmen, principalities, and powers. Or else your preaching will not work. You may have the power to speak to Lazarus, but if stone is there, your prophetic ministry will be shut down. All right. 3 questions, please. Please, your question must be a good question. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know your question is a good question because he has a flight to catch. All right, gentlemen, could you... all right, you can come forward. You have a mic? Who else? A lady. Well, if there's a lady. Is there a lady ahead? Yes. Get her, come. And then let me go to this side. All right, you do. Your question must be good, though. If it's not good, I will stop the question. No. All right, him first. Here, come. You see, you're a worship leader. You should give the usher. That's why you went to the wrong person first. Okay, all right.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor, for the thoughts. I'm really blessed. My question is simple and direct. Profound thoughts. So I want to ask, judging by when you started, would you mind to share how you were able to appropriate church offerings and apply those principles that you used to expand, to multiply church funds?
Okay, wait. What do you mean by appropriate?
Okay, so by appropriate, like when you get the offerings, how do you use church funds? Then how do you invest these church funds too?
How long have you been? That's not your question now, to be honest. Okay, if he wants to answer it, but okay, answer it, Charles. But I'm not saying that. All right.
What I would tell you is this. There are a couple of disciplines involved there. I'll just maybe mention 1 or 2. The first one we all know is that you must learn to separate your personal income from church income. The business itself is a personality. If it's business you're doing, you need to do the same thing. How much more church? And then the Bible said there are differences of administration, but the same Lord. So I studied models, looked at a couple of churches, looked at their models, how their financial administration system. And we have gone through evolution. It's not how we started. It's not where we started that we are right now. You know, there are some churches where, okay, there is a model that we work with. We have adjusted it a little. That is very good. We call it the 10-20-70 model, where we started with 70 expenses, 10% giving away, because I believe that the church too should tithe and give, and 20% savings. You see that? We call it the ABCD of financial stewardship. Even in personal finance, don't live on more than 70% of your income if you want to go anywhere. So that's where we use that administrative strategy to start. No matter what it is, we will not spend more than 70 because we have to save a minimum of 20% and give away a minimum of 10%. That 20% that you save, savings is a very important financial discipline. But savings on its own will not make you wealthy. What happens is that savings is now a principle for accumulation of capital. And those capital is what you now invest. You look out for good investment opportunities that come. I'll give you an example. This is election season. It's just passing. Every time it's time for election, I get properties very cheap. Do you know why? Yes, a lot of politicians are in a hurry to sell. They want to. And they believe that they will win. And at the end of the day, they don't win. But they will be begging you. And because they are the ones begging, the power of negotiation is in your hand. I push the thing down. And they say, bring it, bring it. But how will you have money to take advantage of opportunities if you don't have savings? And I will tell you, if I tell you this, believe me, the first law of financial discipline is not even savings, it's frugality. Frugality is living below your means. Because the money that comes will always finish unless you have some form of discipline. So, by that principle, we kept pushing down that 70. We kept pushing it down. There's a time it got to is 50. For example, some of the big things that take money from churches and from families too. Accommodation. Children's school fees. So in a church, when you now get to a point that you have been blessed, you have your own property. What are you doing with some of the excess money? So I move more towards that 20. We keep increasing that 20 and keep diminishing the 70. And then we started having more resources to do big things, including acquiring property. And so you have the key.
All right, your question?
I am a branch pastor in a particular ministry. I have been pastoring the church since 2015. By the grace of God, because we are in the village, at least we have hit over 100 members in that village. Other churches, they think that we are big, we are doing well. But deep within me, I feel that there is more. You know, many a times after administration, I just go home sad.
All right, they said the question.
Yes. Sometimes I'm sad. I just feel that, there is always more. At times, I just feel maybe
Ask.
There is something I am not doing, or maybe I'm over ambitious, because I believe within me that we should have been more than where we are.
Okay, you want to know what to do to grow, to be more.
Yes, sir.
First, when you go back from this conference, get a few people, a few of your leaders, do a survey of that whole village and community. What are their biggest problems? If witches are attacking them all the time, you need to create a deliverance service. Whether you know how to do it or not, find somebody within your church that know how to do it. Or go and study books on it so you learn how to do it. It can be your monthly program. If it is where they have a lot of poverty, think about what is it that I can start teaching that can help these people grow wealth, grow their businesses and so on. So do a survey of that village. And sometimes the way to do it is by asking questions. When you get that information, because the key to drawing them is by being able to create solutions to their problems. And you cannot solve all the problems, but you look at the list. This one and this one, we can start doing something about. A lot of people are sick. Maybe you need to learn, read, go and buy this book and study and start doing healing services. You don't need any special anointing. If it's once every month. And if you start meeting their needs, your church will explode. But then, secondly, you need to now grow structures to contain those people that are coming. So you need to find books on sales system and other types of structures you can develop. For example, there are places you need to develop a structure for women, let the women ministry, and they will be doing their own. Let the men, and they are doing their own. A structure where the young people are doing their own. The teens are doing their own. The more structure you multiply, the more growth you see. Because structure is like the clothes you're wearing. What you were wearing when they get back to you cannot enter you again. Can't size you now. So you keep adjusting it as you grow. You keep expanding the structure to accommodate an expanding church. That's how you do it.
All right, wait, one second.
And you need to start growing more leaders.
Did you come from a village here? From Edo State? From a village Edo State? See me before you go back.
Wow.
All right. So he'll say, all right, next question, last question.
And sorry for interrupting you. When you also go, find 12 people out of that 100, pick them up, and start growing them to be like you. And they will help you to, okay.
Thank you very much, sir. My own question is, there's a field we normally go and we minister to the people there. A lot of them are jobless. Some have jobs, but they go there for recreation. It's kind of like a recreation center for the estate where we have our church. So we take food there to them sometimes. We take the church to them there. We notice there is this inflow, and then after a while, the population reduces. We keep going back there, bringing them, and they still, after a while, they still go back to smoking, Igbo, and all that. So my question is, how do we actually get them to leave that smoke
and become stable
and become stable in church? How do we get them to come to the church and be disciples without going back into that same recreational center, still smoking and waiting for us to come and feed them again whenever they go out to smoke? Thank you very much, sir.
Welfare ministry, social ministry can be very frustrating until we learn how to move the people from dependence to independence. Because I did a lot of that, for the young people, Nigerian project, the youth project. Those ones you bring from the streets, those ones you bring from addiction, drugs, and all that. It's not a small thing. I will advise that you do some more studies. And there are a lot of videos on the internet and some other courses on how to deal with addiction, how to deal with some of these other problems. But the package you take to them should have at least 3 levels. That's one of the things I learned. That first level that attracts them, food, whatever, the input phase. Then you need to develop a process program that processes the fish you are catching from the water. Because anytime there is harvest and they ripe and fall and you don't process them, they spoil. And that's what is happening to them. So you get a lot of fish from the water, you don't go and dry them, do some other things to make them in. After a while, you see flies. They will be the ones smelling around you. And we had a lot of such problems. They can even steal. Come and carry keyboard from the church. Disappear. You know, I'm telling you. There's one that was caught in a major church in Oregon here. He has been stealing. So they decided to set up cameras and all. And you know when they caught him, it was a crippled man that was healed there. And they brought him, the camera shows. He was lying now, they showed him camera, he now started crying. He said, after I got healed now, I started coming to church. There was nothing I was doing. When hunger got out of time, an idea came to me that I can be. So he got a team, and they started learning. They were 10 workers meeting to find the colors of bag that will be used for offering. So they bring their own offering, they take offering. And when others are going towards the counting, they do like that, they go to the boot of the car. Yes, camera caught them. Put camera, if you have grown, in the room where they are counting money for you. Don't say, I have discipled my people. If Judas that was discipled by Jesus can do that. Okay, so discipleship program or training program that is designed to now start reforming and transforming those people. And when you start that program, the first phase should be mindset change and value orientation. Change their value. They have lived all their life dependent. And they will keep sapping the church. No. You can't come to welfare and continue in welfare. You're building Moses' generation, and they can be problematic. So it is there you rewind their brain to discover their potentials, what they can do, and then finally, the third phase is where you teach them some skills, whether it's vocational skills or skills for earning a living, skills that can help them become something. Look at people like Ogbueli, the comedian, came from the street, but there was a program he went through. And now the guy has a house in Lagos for a street boy. If they were only giving them food, that would be a big problem. So develop programs from this, you move to this phase. And you can't stay for too long at that level one. You move over here, you start coming for training and all of that. And at every level, think about a type of incentive that will keep them. Because sometimes they are not disciplined enough to go for training. When it's time for training, you don't see them. When it's time for food, they show up. So create some form of incentive. It could be recognition. Oh, we're going to give an award. We're going to recognize this and that. Just like in football. I use football to reach a community. Pastor Pojo, I found out, I went to make inquiry. The highest they give for most of these other clubs that are playing, MTN had the highest award, and I think it was 300,000 at that time. 300,000. When I found out, we decided, okay, and this 300,000 will be taken by one group. So I decided we're going to put 300,000, create another 100,000 for the second runner, and 50 for the third. So 3 clubs are going to get, and I announced a football competition for the states. People started playing. But every match, there must be 15 minutes for us to preach in between first half and second half. We lead people to Christ. And when they now got to semi-final, it was then a turn to crusade. I saw that the millions were wasting to go to stadium. These boys, they have fans. They have access to all sorts of things. And we have told them you must bring all your fans and all that. That I used 300,000 to organize a crusade in a whole state. And the club that won got the 300,000. The next club got 100,000 and the other one. So what did the incentive do? The incentive made them, because we had discipleship program we created for them. We told them that talent is not enough. You need to go through training to prepare you. And they were coming for that. So on Monday morning, Tuesday, when people are going to work, we have these massive people, young people coming. And by the end of that program, we have actually created another big church out of football outreach. So there might be small incentives. It doesn't have to be money. It can be that there will be a gold medal or something for recognition. They will follow you to the training program. Thank you, sir.
Let's put our hands together. All right, so I'm going to take my book. They gave me Healing the Sick. Thank you very much. So we'll be back at